What's going on YouTube? It's me, Kenneth with What's New Barbecue. Today we're going to be breaking out the RT700 from RecTech, and we're going to be making a smoked salmon. And I got that smoked salmon from Matador Meat and Wine. Their information will be down below in the description box. This salmon turned out great, guys, and if you stick around, I'll show you how to really level up your salmon game. If this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscription button and that bell right next to it so you can keep track of this barbecue journey. I love making salmon because it's my son and my wife's favorite dish of mine that I smoke outside of the normal barbecue. So y'all stick around and let's get right to it. Alright guys, this is our salmon that I told you I got from Matador Prime Steak. This is just awesome quality, guys. Look at the color in that salmon. This is completely fresh. He only carries it until he sells it, and then he'll order more. He doesn't sit there and stock it up. The seasoning we'll be using is something new that I haven't tried before. It's called a Cajun Life, and this is the seafood rub. So I thought that'd go great on it. I tasted it a little bit out of the bottle, and it's got a nice little citrus flavor. I think it'll go great on this salmon. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is get this seasoned up, and we're running on the RecTech today. And normally if you're cooking salmon in the oven, like roasting it, you'd be at a temperature around 200 degrees to 220 degrees. What I'm going to do is go about 230 degrees on this salmon. We want to start eating here in just a little bit. So I'm going to go 230 degrees on this salmon, and that seasoning's smelling awesome, let me just add. But we're going to go ahead and let that RecTech continue to get fired up to that 230 degrees. We're using fruit wood for the pellets, and I think this will be great. I'll catch up with y'all when we get out to the smoker. Alright guys, we've got this salmon onto the RecTech, and reminder, we're using fruit wood pellets. It's smelling awesome out here, rolling at 230 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down and start cooking, and I'll update y'all in 20 minutes. Wow. Alright guys, we're 20 minutes later, and I wanted to take a peek at the salmon and see what it's looking like. We've got some awesome smoke trail rolling out. It's smelling great. That Cajun Life seasoning starting to put a nice color on the crust of our salmon. Check that out. It's smelling awesome. And as you can see, the white fat lines that were running throughout it are actually starting to break down and kind of become one with the salmon itself. Let's go ahead and just take a temperature check and see what we're looking like. I know we're far off from what we're looking for. We're looking for 145 degrees internal for our finished temperature. Let's take a peek and see where we're at. Right under 90 degrees. That's about where I expect it to be at. I'm going to go ahead and actually turn this up to 240 degrees for the rest of this cook. We'll check on it 20 more minutes and see how it's looking. But in between times, before we check it again, let's get in the kitchen and make us a fresh lemon and butter mix to baste this salmon. I'll catch y'all in the kitchen. Alright guys, we're back in the kitchen now, and we have our lemon. What I want to do first is just roll it around a little bit, kind of let those juices get activated throughout, break up a little bit. And we're just going to simply cut this bad boy in half. And I'm actually using a new knife that's a Santoku knife, and it's from Oxford Chef. I'll be using this a lot more, but we're going to use this knife to go ahead and cut this lemon in half, just like that. And we're going to go ahead and actually add this lemon to some butter that I already have melted in this small bowl here. So we're just going to go ahead and squeeze some of our fresh lemon juice in there. If you haven't basted salmon with lemon juice and butter, that is the easiest thing you can do to amp up the flavor profile in your salmon. And to follow that up, I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a little bit more of that Cajun Life seafood rub, just to make sure we don't lose those flavors we started out with. And mix that up. just like that. That's what it looks like, guys. Right there, got some nice seasoning flakes in there, got the lemon juice, the melted butter. Let's go ahead and set this aside, and we will baste our salmon when it's the next 20-minute checkpoint. Alright guys, this is 20 minutes later. It's time to take a peek at our salmon. Look at that. It's starting to break down nicely. You can see we're starting to get a little bit of flakage on the crust area. What we're going to do now is baste this with our fresh lemon juice and butter mix. Just dab it on there. And this is going to help it stay nice and moist while we keep cooking on the smoker. And I personally think it's important to baste salmon or seafood on the smoker because smoke tends to dry out seafood. So if you can baste it or spritz it, that's the way to go. And it's just going to enhance those nice flavors, making it pop. That's what we're looking like. I'm going to go ahead and shut this bad boy down, let it roll for 10 more minutes, and we'll take a temperature check. I'll catch back up with y'all here in a little bit. Alright guys, I just checked the internal temperature and we are literally right at 145 degrees, which is what we want to be at for the salmon. Look at that color, that glisten. That seasoning really worked well on this salmon. It's smelling great. I'm going to go ahead and get this bad boy on the cutting board in the kitchen and we'll give it a taste. Alright guys, I've got my son here, Brayson. He's going to taste this salmon with me. You want to say hi?
Hi.
And let's take a brief recap while we, right before we taste this. What we did is we hit this with some Cajun rub from the Cajun Life, and it's their seafood rub. And then we basted it throughout the cook with some melted butter and lemon juice. It really makes that salmon pop, guys, if you've never basted it before. And we started out at 220 degrees on the Rectech, and 20 minutes in we cranked it up to 240 degrees. And that's where it was for the duration of the cook, which took right under an hour to reach that 145 degrees internal. We're gonna let Bubba take the first bite. Let him know what you think of it, Bubba. Let me go ahead and get you a bite. Bubba loves some salmon. This is actually for him and my wife, a little special request. I love making food that they love. Let's see what Bubba tastes, what he thinks. What do you think?
Really great.
Really good? Yeah? What do you taste? You taste the lemon at all? That citrus we talked about? Let me go ahead and give it a taste and see what I think. The skin, the crust looks awesome. The color looks like we got a perfect cook on it. It's nice pink. You don't want it to be white. It's got a nice pink color to it. Let me bring that in closer for y'all. And that's what you want for a finished result. Cheers, y'all. Wow. Wow. That's awesome. First off, you can't beat seafood from Matador Meat and Wine. He only stocks stuff fresh, so you know it's really good. But that Cajun seafood rub hit the spot, guys. It really goes well with that seafood. What I do want to do, though, is squeeze a little bit of lemon juice on here, just to get a little extra pop of flavor. Can't beat a little pop of flavor. You want to try it with some lemon juice?
Sure.
You like
that
it?
gets better and better.
Gets better and better. You heard it from the little man. Let me give it a taste. Wow, it's just pulling apart, guys, and that's what you want with seafood. Wow, it really enhances that seafood flavor. That citrus is what seafood wants. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go, guys. I appreciate y'all for stopping by What's New Barbecue. If you ask me, this salmon turned out perfectly. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscription button and that bell right next to it so you can keep track of this barbecue journey. Until next time, guys, y'all keep on barbecuing. You want to wave bye to them?
Bye.
Peace!